like to welcome the online viewers and remind the public that our gallery is open. Agenda meeting 1472 in front of you. Are there any additions to the agenda? Hearing none.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'd
go
just
ahead.
like to add an update there from Rec. We have no, it's not a formal agenda or minutes because we didn't have any action items, but it's just an update from past business.
Okay, so you're going to bring that forward in new business?
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. All right, minutes for meeting 1471 are presented. Are there any errors or omissions? Noting none. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for question.
Can I just
Oh,
sorry, Mayor, I think today is 1471, so the minutes must be from 1470. Is that right?
Well, there's three of them there, like three sort of.
I think this is 1472.
And I think on the top, yeah, it's just, I know, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No, good, thank you. Any more questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
No.
Motion carried, thank you. Business arising from the minutes. Is there any business arising from the minutes?
I just had one inquiry. I was wondering if we established a date for our meeting with Reedville. Was that, I know an email came out, there was some back and forth, but has nothing solid yet, is it, or?
No, we don't have nothing solid to date. I know at Symposium, myself, Councillor Jones, and the Mayor had discussed with Mayor Reedville about potential for a meeting. We actually invited them tonight, but I think they're actually meeting themselves tonight.
Gotcha.
That was the goal for in camera. But we did have some preliminary discussions in Symposium about some of the agenda items that they want to bring up. And our goal is to look at something probably throughout the rest of May or early June, because we will be switching now to the once a month meeting. So we really want to get that put out there. But to answer your question, we don't have a definitive date, but we have open discussion about the agenda topics that council's aware that we want to bring up with them.
Okay, all right. You'll email out or let us know or something, or?
Yeah, we'll go back again now and try to find out that even if our once a month meetings don't align with theirs, we'll probably invite them down the night that we have our scheduled meeting and have the full hour beforehand.
That makes sense, yeah. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Moving on to new business, Councillor Langdon, please.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I think I might have confused. I'm okay with just adding the report to the bottom, if that's okay with you.
Okay,
just
go
at
ahead.
the end.
Yeah,
Is
we'll
that
do
better? I think that's better for everyone.
Yeah, no worries.
Excellent. Sorry about that.
Is there any other additions for new business? Hearing none, we shall move on to correspondence. In front of you, item number 1, Treehouse Family Resource, AGM, May 28th. We'll need to RSVP by May 24th. I can attend, and is there anyone else that's available for that evening? I know myself and Councillor Langdon went last year.
Yeah, sorry, Krista, could you just RSVP myself as well? If you don't mind,
Alright.
thank you.
Good stuff. Okay, moving on to reports. Finance, Councillor Freak, please.
Myself, Councillor Jones, Councillor Fitzgerald, and Town Manager Jason Young had met on May the 8th. Item number 1, the Annex Progress Payment, number 29 for $388,041.79, recommended approval. Item number 2, CBCL, Water Filter Progress Payment number 10, $328,508.53, recommended approval. Item number 3 is our power lines for the industrial park for $28,436.05, recommended approval. Item number 4 is the digital sign contract on Commerce Street. The committee has reviewed and will defer until further information is reviewed and make the recommendation to council. Item number 5 from FMA for the Gracia space. The engineering on that was $5,960.45, and we recommended approval. I make a motion for the finance report.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to accounts payable. Councillor Freak, please.
Okay, accounts payable is missing item numbers, so the total for our accounts payable is, and I'll exclude Western Steel. Almost
Councillor
there.
Freak, just one quick question. I think there's one there for Agatuna.
Okay.
Should I declare, or what's council's wishes?
I never thought an uncle was someone that you'd have to declare conflict for, but
No, but there's some discretion within the new act, so it's of council's
I think you're fine,
recommendation.
Mayor.
I do too. I think.
I think if on, once the new act comes in, we'll revisit it, but right now, I think one meeting will cover me before, we never had no issues with it. I don't have no issue with it this time.
Okay, Councillor Langdon, any concern?
No, I have no concerns there.
Deputy Mayor Young?
No concerns.
Councillor Freak?
Nope.
Councillor Hancock? Okay,
Yeah,
and
no.
Mayor, based upon the show through the room, I think you're good.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry,
Okay.
Councillor Freak.
That's okay. Accounts payable total $109,544.62, excluding Western Steelworks.
All right, we have moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.
Invoices for Western Steelworks for the amount of $2,721.10. I make a motion to pay the invoices.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Freak.
Thanks.
All right, moving on to Public Works.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'd actually just like to make a comment on the report. I appreciate the new, I don't know, that's a new format you guys are using there?
No, it's not a new format.
Oh, sorry.
It's just
I was going to
There's more
comment that I
detail.
like it with the
There
more
is more
detail, but
detail,
okay,
yeah.
carry on. You can.
So that's our finance committee report, but instead of you
Right.
seeing all the invoices, they're just the one-liners, so.
But you know what could happen, because I gotta say, I did appreciate it too, is if you could have the one that's been compiled or condensed, but also have this as an attachment. that would
Right,
be
okay,
great.
sorry, I thought this was new.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we can look at, because I know from Councillor Feek's perspective, you do want the items there. I know
Yeah,
for
I
her
like it.
report, it's much easier when you have to exclude items that you can just refer to the item number rather
Yeah.
than the company. But I know we debated this, I guess, back probably last fall about the way that we present. So it is, very detailed.
Yeah.
And we'll probably look at working with staff that prepares us to do a hybrid, that we can have both, so that councillors can see the detailed report, yet the condensed version, which makes it much easier for the chair to be
Yes.
able to go through and
sure.
provide the information in a timely manner.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, just for residents to clarify, this is always public knowledge to everybody and all the councillors as well. Just as not, it's in, like we mentioned, a condensed version on the agenda, so it is always available to everybody.
Yeah. You always have the invoices available with, if we want to review something, and yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
and we bring them both to the finance meeting, and as Chris will show you, we actually have the paper copies here. So that when we do come in, if anyone wanted a question, we do have the paper trail we still use right now to be able to ensure every invoice is accounted for.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
great.
sorry, Mr. Mayor.
No worries. All great comments. Moving on to Public Works, Councillor Fitzgerald, please.
All right, in front of you at the Public Works meeting of May 10th, in attendance was Director of Public Works Dave Thomas, Councillor Langdon, and myself. Item number 1 is 86 Riverbank Road. Residents asked to have a culvert put across the road from their house to prevent flooding. We're going to have a look at this with our crew, see if there's any other alternatives. Because right now, if we go doing anything Riverbank Road, we may cause ourselves a little bit more issues trying to put in a culvert across the street. So we're gonna just investigate on that one. Item number 2, Nicholsville Road, Tower Road Lift Station. Just an update that we have all the components to repair the lift station, and our intent's to install in June. All our invoices have been sent to our insurance company for reimbursement. Item number 3, 9th 4th Avenue. Homeowner would like to have a catch basin at the end of the driveway raised. We'll be putting in our schedule to have that repaired as soon as possible. Just bear with us with all the cleanup and potholes we're getting to. And item number 4, Luscious Lane Stormwater Study. We received 2 requests for quotes. Both were Egatuna Drafting in the amount of $20,101.77 and CBCL for $38,755,000. We're reviewing both proponents at this time, and we will have a recommendation for our next meeting. I ask that you accept the the Public Works meetings for May 10th.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Fitzgerald, seconded by Councillor Lang. Call for question.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I guess not a question, just a comment there on item number 2. Excited to see in our conversation that we mentioned before in a public meeting about beautifying some of our more industrial proponents of the town. So I'm excited to hear that we're going to look into some options as well of kind of beautifying this lift station as well to make it look a little bit more appealing as well ensuring all safety standards. So
We're going to hang a couple of those trees. So
yes, that's right. We're gonna
make it smell a bit better.
Pine trees. Pine trees.
All right, any other comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to Environment and Housing, Councillor Jones, please.
Okay, you have the report in front of you from May the 9th. I'm removing 2 items, number 23 and number 35 from this report for tonight. We'll bring back recommendations next meeting due to I need more information. So our Environment and Housing meeting was held on Thursday, May the 9th, as I said. Myself, Richard Jones, and Dave Thomas, and Jason Young was there. Okay, items in front of you under general repairs, number 1 to number 13, all these permits has been issued. 14 to 20, extensions and patios and fences, these permits has been issued. Number 21, 22, the permits has been issued. Number 23, like I said, it was removed. And number 24 for accessory building 24 to 28. These all met our regulations and they were approved. New dwellings, 29, 30, and 31 will be 3 items, 3 locations for Woodford Drive for Jade Holdings. These will be recommend approval. Number 32, 34 South Main, replace roof, recommend approval. Number 33 White's Road for siding and cleanup. This permit is going to be issued and we recommend approval. Number 34, 81 Goose Arm Road, home-based business, no foot traffic, recommend approval. And number 35, 22 Bowles Place, extension on the garage does not meet our requirement and will exceed the garage size for the lot size, so we recommend we deny this. Number 36, 12 Spruce Street for a garage, meets our regulations, recommend approval. For accessory buildings, 15 Amanda Avenue, recommend approval based on practices for accessory buildings near the waterfront properties. And you actually see number 35, this is the one that's supposed to be removed, not the other 35. And number 36 under other is the Eagle View imagery flight scheduled to start early May, pending ATC access, weather, and fleetability. This is the one that was approved last year's budget for the cost of it, but we're just getting on stream right now to get it done. So I move that we accept the environment nosing for May the 9th, excluding the 2 items that I presented in my report.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried.
Can I just say for the record, it's the first time I had environment nosing with no questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I held back.
It could be the sunshine outside that we
Yes.
haven't seen. All right, thank you. Moving on to Economic Development, Councillor Hancock, please.
Yeah, so I just want to note, sorry, I gotta figure out how to do this. I'm gonna be removing number 10 in this report because it's addressed in the health and wellness report. Okay, so Economic Development met April 30th, in attendance, Councillor Freak, myself, Town Manager, and the new EDO, Gloria Field. Number 1, the beach project development. An agreement was composed and endorsed by the town, the Deer Lake Tourism Development Corporation, the owner operator of the beach. The agreement captures the terms of the special event license, sponsorship, and acknowledges that all insurance requirements are in good standing. The Deer Lake Tourism Development Corporation will proceed with the special event license application. Number 2, trail branding. The EDO met with ACOA and Department of Industry, Energy, and Technology. There's a meeting scheduled with Deer Lake RV Park regarding signage and opportunities within the park to enhance the visitor experience. The annex update, the May 8th information session this is an old report, but it has went ahead, and the information was given on social media. Residents will have the opportunity for some questions, and they did, and it was great. Number 4, conference potential for Deer Lake. It's in process. The town manager and EDO to meet with Holiday Inn and Deer Lake Motel to discuss room blocking and capacity. Tourism levy. Meeting scheduled for May 9th with Craig Foley from Hospitality Newfoundland to discuss implementation plan, including information for accommodations. Economic Development Luncheon. The date is set for June 6th from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Deer Lake Motel, and formal invitations will be sent out. Number 7, the boat launch. The committee seeks direction from council, so we could have discussion after this if you'd like. Would council prefer that the EDC pursue options to develop the proposed boat launch site as a municipality, or is it the interest of council for the committee to proceed preparing like an RFP or similar document regarding external contractors or future lessees? Number 8, the bandstand. The EDO completed a site visit. Plans to propose some signage and beautification measures to the building are underway. And lastly, number 9, economic strategic plan. Ongoing research and development. Initial framework to be presented at the June 6th luncheon for feedback and comment by our business peers. Motion to accept the report as presented.
All right, just on item number 7, Councillor.
Sure.
What's your wishes?
I know that, I think at the meeting, basically what we said was when we started out this project, we injected, a couple $100,000 or so into it. It got to a certain point. Sorry? Well, I think we were just going to have discussion in order to allow direction. Because at the meeting, essentially what we talked about was, like a council ago, the desire was to have a safe boat launch as a result of issues in the river, capacity challenges, things like that. So we discussed this. We went ahead with it. We injected a couple $100,000, like I said, and the new council, slightly different direction, and for good reasons. And so I think we're just basically, Gloria is going to need a direction to head in, essentially. Are we interested in continuing? You're probably looking at, it could be 150,000 or something to continue. What we talked about was, even if we were to go out for an RFP, that we would probably apply for the water access just to make that easier for the proponent. But it's open for discussion, and really it's about giving Gloria direction.
Yeah, and just to clarify, and to you too, Councillor Freak, I don't think we're looking for a motion tonight on where to move, because if we do decide, just say there's a scenario we decide to go out for a lease, that does require a separate motion. So it's more or less that there'll be a dialogue tonight, and probably an ongoing, but prior to budget 2025 preparations, the committee was looking for some direction that, are we going out to request proposals for an X year lease on property, or are we committing more town money to go back in and finish this? So it's more or less to keep the conversation open, because we know summer's fast approaching, and then when you convene in the fall, you're looking at budget, and we kind of need to have some direction on what to do here.
In fairness to Gloria, just coming on too, she's wondering, hey guys, what do you want me to do with this? And I think that's really all she's looking for, is what direction should I head in? How should I begin planning? How should I look at this?
Well, and even in terms of her time, how much time we want her to
100%.
invest into looking at what options and what direction council has. So it's more or less just an FYI to keep something, and maybe even in June we can come back with some more directed conversation.
Sure. Yeah, are there any thoughts? Feel free. Yes. I know some people have thought about the idea of putting it out, and what do people feel like?
So,
I didn't have a seconder.
So technically, as the chair, and I have to say to this, it has to come to commit, it has to come from committee as a recommendation. This is an FYI, so sitting as a chair, I can't open it back up to go back to motion, because that's not what you brought to this table, so I would recommend for your next meeting, if you choose
Like,
to.
I'll just say this. I know, like, in other reports, it'll say, like, for discussion, and then we'll discuss it around the table. And this is what this was meant to be. I know in the past we've done it, but if you don't want to, we can bring it back in some kind of... But it's not meant to be a motion.
Well,
It's meant to be a discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know how you want to do it, but...
Well, once we get the report passed, we can have a discussion on where we're gonna go. We should pass the report first, accept it.
Well, I get a call for question, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we have a mover, seconded by
I don't think we have a second. Okay.
Councillor Jones. Call for question. Now the floor is open.
I guess I'll give my couple cents. Yeah, I got no problem just getting some discussion on the table on what direction, what we're gonna follow up with. As you said, there's a couple of different options we do. And as a town manager, we can look at least, we can look at several things. So
Would
I
you?
got no problem even starting the email thread on a few opinions to give you for your next meeting.
Would you like quotes on completion, and then like you want a comparison of the two pieces? Like, is that something that people want to see, or is there any point?
My issue with that, Councillor Hancock, is that there is no design. I don't know how we go ahead and get a actual plan. The boat launch never had a design. I understand the
They ha-
past council was moving in a direction of
Yeah.
actually having a
Yeah.
boat launch.
Yeah, it had a road design, but
Yeah.
no, you're right, but not the launch itself.
So I guess, I didn't mean to interject, Councillor
Sorry.
Jones.
Oh,
It's
no,
just
go
to the
ahead.
point that as a councillor, I can't make an informed decision unless you go ahead and you go and say, we're gonna do an RFP for a full design of boat launch with all stakeholders envision of what's required. So I think that's kind of the reason why I've been pretty mute on this boat launch since coming to council. So that's my opinion.
So let's like dumb it down a little bit. We have currently got an issue on Riverbank Road for unsafe boat launch for the traffic. This boat launch is, it's had multiple plans and ideas, and we went from Disneyland to like St. Jude's with the plan. It needs to be a safe boat launch. It doesn't need to be fancy. It can be a slipway, breakwater. How do we get from an unsafe situation to a safe one? How much engineering, how much drawing, how much money are we going to invest from a tax base on a safe place to launch the boat? And at what point do we stop spending money and send it out for a private lease, something? So I think it's open. We're all kind of blind sitting here, not knowing what to do, but what's the next steps? And Gloria's even more blind to the situation.
I guess that would be the overall view of what council would be. My biggest opinion is if that's the route that the town wishes to go, then to hire a consultant to provide all those things. Obviously, there's many things that's got to be tied into this, and navigable water's got to be tied into it. Making sure that the depths and soundings are all there. Is it feasible in that location? Obviously, I'm going to say it probably is because you've gone ahead and you've done the work that you've done. So. That's my ignorance because we haven't moved on it, but to the point of that would be my recommendation to this council. If that's the route that the members wish to travel in or in the direction they want to be in, that's fine. It's just that I think you need to have an overall general want before you move to a consultant so they can actually prepare that design.
I would say that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and one of the things I will bring up is I know when we halted, I guess, under the previous council, we had looked at the next step would probably involve a permit to alter a body of water, which, we went through with the RV park. So, I mean, that does require design in terms of how do we plan on accessing the water and is there a breakwater involved. So, I mean, it's kind of something we looked at even at the committee level is does the town go out with a design over what would be in the permit to alter a body of water, knowing that if someone came in privately and say, well, I want to build upon that, well, here's what's been approved. Anything that you do to amend that in terms of if it's larger, if it's turned, east or west. But we were trying to discuss, should we as owners go get some of the paperwork done, or should we just say that, look, we're going out for quotes, but we want to see that you have a design and you have proper permitting, so that when you come to the town of Deer Lake with your overall plan, it includes an environmental assessment and a permit to alter a body of water, so that us as property owners are protected. So you're right, there is a design, I think, involved in the next step, and I guess it's for council and management to kind of decide, what do we want to do? Do we want to go say we can get the permitting so you can get in the water, or if people say no, we got bigger ideas, well then you go do the permitting, but the condition is there that the town of Deer Lake owns the property, so that we would have to sign off on, because technically it's still going to be the town of Deer Lake who applies for all of this, because we're the property owners. So yeah, there's still, but you're right, Councillor Fitzgerald, there is a design. The next step is finding out how we are permissed to get in the water.
So, yeah, so the way I look at it is, we did have a road design, so that got us down to the parking lot, but you're right, we have no design for the slipway and the breakwater. And so that would be a piece. I guess the question is, should we do that piece anyway, even if we're gonna put it out so that someone has something to work from, or do we? I don't know. I'm just hoping that we do something, because we got a fair amount of taxpayer dollars into it, and we did get some funding, but not significant. And also, we still do have a fairly unsafe situation, generally speaking.
Would the intent of council be to decommission the existing boat launch?
No.
Without something else?
Not in the original plan.
So for the general consensus for public or anyone that's watching, I don't think there's anybody around this table that doesn't realize or see the uptake of, from first Sea-Doo came to this community in 1993, there was 2 of them here, and now there's about 250 of them here.
They come down they visit a lot of visitors?
That being said, the number one thing, back to Councillor Freak's comment, was first it was Marina. Now, once it's been identified that we have issues, we've went to media, we've asked people to use their own due diligence, we've asked people to be safe. It's a high traffic area. It's a great issue to have, because we're built on Deer Lake, right? And we want to make it as safe as possible. But again, to sit here and to debate which way we're going to go, I don't think this is going to move any further.
I was just going to say, maybe what we could do, if people are okay with it, is we could invite maybe Public Works, a couple Public Works representatives to the next ED meeting, if that works. Just from a hey, next steps pieces.
Yeah.
But I think we agree, as points taken from the committee, that we have to move one way or another on this, because it's
And I think that's a good move tonight, Councillor Hack. So.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Last little piece around that is, we did approve some sounding previously, but I don't know if we ever did it. Did we ever do the sounding? Yes. Oh, we did? Okay. So we do have the sounding data? Yeah. Okay.
all right. Always great discussion. Any further questions for the Economic Development Committee report? Hearing none, we have a mover, we have a seconder. All those in favor? Motion carried. All right. It's great to see economic development back and well. Health and Wellness Deputy Mayor Young, please.
So Health and Wellness met May 9th, in attendance, Councillor Hancock, myself, Mayor Guzny, and our new EDO, Gloria Field. So Gloria, this is other great work from Gloria. So she has identified a funding stream in which we can avail of to increase our age-friendly community access throughout the community through different recreation and outdoor kind of facilities and events. So to move forward with this funding, she requires a motion from council actively voicing that we support this initiative. It strengthens her proposal the more committees that it comes across. So if recreation, I know health and wellness put forth, but economic development, even finance, recognizing the economic spin-offs that can come from increasing access for seniors in this community. It just strengthens her proposal. So this, I'd like to put forth a motion that be it resolved that council will actively support, promote, and work towards becoming more age-friendly to help support Gloria's application for this funding.
All right, thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Young, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, and that concludes your report, correct, Deputy Mayor Young?
Does, yes, thank you.
All right, Councillor Langdon, Arts and Culture, please.
Excellent, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like I said, Recreation, Arts and Culture doesn't have a formal minutes to submit. We just have some updates from the work we've been on. As mentioned there in the Economic Development Report, we had an excellent turnout for our Annex Information Night. We spoke about some of the recreational opportunities and programming that we look to have, options for usage, times, rates, what people like to see. It turned into a great discussion, and I thank those who helped organize and those who came. I know Krista was there from the town, other councillors, and Jason, the mayor. So I thought it went excellent. We had a great discussion, like I mentioned. Currently, the rec department is working on a regular summer setup that includes all the sports fields, garbage cans, benches. It's quite a snowballing laundry list that happens every year, but we're trying our best to keep on top of that. The trails crew has started and gone out for hiring, which is great to see. So if anyone's interested in working with the crew, I know they're taking application now. You can submit it via the town in person or the email that's attached on the right. Our old email, great. dearlike@nf.aibn.com. Just look at our Facebook page. I think is the best. I don't know, the mayor has mentioned it there. We met with the grade 5 classes there last Friday. It was mostly the mayor, but I was fortunate enough to drop in as well. And some of the discussion was around the pump track that I know we mentioned before. So we're going to continue looking at that through rec and what the next steps are for that. The female baseball program will be starting. That was initiated by our manager Jason and town clerk Laurie. What is the date on that there, Jason?
The first session is going to be Wednesday, May 22nd. And
Excellent.
the sign-up forms are currently on the Dear Lake Facebook
there
page.
still is capacity left?
Yep. So
Excellent.
we're accepting registrations until May 16th, I believe is the date.
Perfect. Sounds good. On the note of registration, I'd like to remind everyone that our summer programs have opened up for registration just today, right, guys? I saw it on the Facebook page today. Yeah. So make sure you get out, sign up. Space is limited on that as well. It's a great program there. And we are still, as we mentioned before, in the process of meeting with all of our sports organizations to go over year end and some organizations for the year ahead to ensure we have appropriate planning. So that concludes everything for me. Like I said, just an update, so don't have a motion to.
Nope, very good. Thank you for that. Before we call for adjournment, as we all know now, it's starting to become a custom that we're going to do a round table. I'm just going to start here to reiterate Councillor Langdon, the grade 5's winner here from Municipal Awareness Week, the Elwood Eagles. It was quite invigorating. The questions that came, we made a bunch of students mayor for the time slot that they're here. I just want to say a hats off to our administrator in front office, Leslie Murin. She went over and above to see that they were all taken care of. Treats were all organized. The favorites always are the MEOs, Keith and Caitlin, so they love playing with sirens in the trucks. Sarah as well with environment, and Haley, our student at the moment. And Jason, hats off to you. When I walked in here, he was in here with about 30 kids, and there were questions coming back and forth, and you held yourself very well. So hats off to you. I don't know if I know you had some point in your life with a profession of a teacher, but I've definitely seen your attributes with that many children, because I was a little overwhelmed myself.
There's a lot of hockey kids coming through too, so you recognize them from your extracurricular.
Definitely on the coaching side, so that was great to see. And the number one thing when we did do a mock council, the number one thing when asked was a pump track from pretty much 95% of them. If there's any other staff that I forgot, please forgive me, and thank you for all that you've done. The kids were really highlighted and lighted, and I think we got approval to get a picture put up today with the kids, so that was pretty interesting and fun. Touch a Truck is this Thursday for anyone that may be watching. Starts at 5. Hot dogs are provided, and it's a pretty good ongoing event. And there's a sensory at the start of it. Another one, I just wanted to give a hats off to the Junction Trailblazers. The work that they've done from our town to Howley and beyond, looking to go beyond, is quite commendable. It's a huge part of our economy, people coming through, so I just want to say thanks to them for the hard work and all their volunteer time. One other thing, I know sometimes they say not to, I speak to this gentleman often, he puts me in line when need be, and every time he calls I'm definitely going to take action, because he's one of very few. I know there's another resident around, and we've honored both of them, but to see a gentleman down in front of Tim Hortons on Commerce Street today, Garfield Canning, with his full bag of garbage is just remarkable, that he takes such pride in the community. He starts pretty much from Nicholasville Bridge and walks his way through with his garbage picker, so I can't say thanks enough to him. Other than that, that's it for me. I will go round table. Councillor Hancock.
I was actually going to mention Garfield. Yeah, it's just amazing. You know, I think oftentimes, you know, I often say, I guess, that it takes more than 7 people sitting around a table. You know, it takes all our staff, but it takes everyone in the community, really. If everyone does a little piece, and like Garfield, you know, takes that time, like you can, you know, you don't have to have the role given to you. You can just sort of take it on, you know, and I think it's quite amazing, actually. But anyway, that's it for me.
Councillor Freak. Right, thank you. Deputy Mayor Young.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Councillor.
No, I think I'm good there, Mr. Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I'll throw a plug in for the Legion and their Chase the Ace. It's getting
There
a
you
big
go.
crowd down there right now, so
Yes.
Sunday is the place to be.
There you go.
Just to let you know.
And I can't wait to see the new siding. Correct, Deputy Mayor Young?
Me neither.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Fitzgerald. Councillor Jones.
Oh, thank you. Good.
Uh,
It's getting big when vendors start showing up. Well, it starts becoming a market too. You know, it's getting big.
What? Who showed up?
Like they're selling cheese and there's hot dogs.
Hot dogs,
cool.
yeah.
Love
Big
that.
goods.
CAO Jason Young.
Just a couple quick updates of things that happened, I guess, over the last couple of weeks since we last met. Some of us attended Multiculturalism Day at Xavier Junior High on Friday morning, which was very eye-opening to see how many international students were actually in our school system. So they actually had their own booth set up down in the library, which is now called the Learning Commons. I found that as well. But I actually went ahead and said that maybe it is something that the town should look at with our new annex, is expand that and actually have the families look at coming into the annex in the evening, because I know Health and Wellness has had a very good initiative, you know, with the welcome envelopes, I'll call them. But this will be an opportunity to get those groups together. So it is something that I think I'll develop with Health and Wellness because it was great. And the kids did a wonderful job. I'm amazed by the public speaking of some of these kids. I mean, one teacher gave them the wrong cue card, and they were like, okay, just give me the new one. There's no big deal. I was like, the other thing I was going to bring up is that Friday afternoon also, we went out to the spot there on Main Street with the Canadian Mental Health Initiative for the suicide prevention. So the sign is up now. The tulips are about to bloom. We're being told, you know, early June. We've also committed now that as a town, we're going to try to beautify the area as well. I mean, tulips only last for a very small period of time, but we're going to make sure that there is some type of plants or flowers there, and the sign will remain through the summer season. The town of Deer Lake is finally getting new email addresses. So I brought this up at the annex night. They've only started last week, so we haven't really promoted it on social media or anywhere. We've been using a lot of internal. But we will soon be putting out, you know, it will be typically first initial last name at deerlake.ca. So it's a lot easier to rhyme off than it is the long email addresses that people, we always encourage to get hold of us for. A few public works and capital things. Spring cleanup is still on the go. So I know it took a bit of time to get going. We had a few major water line breaks and issues that we had to deal with, but things are, Dave, I guess, moving along as fast as they can now. We have done a pilot project actually with Western Waste Management this year, where they've come into our yard and helped us remove some of the waste. So, you know, it seems it worked out well. We're going to crunch the numbers and bring it all back to finance and kind of look at, you know, maybe there's some best practices for spring cleanup. We felt that it's no good to complain and do things the same year over year and look for different results. We had to try things and see what's going to work. The last thing I have, Mayor, to bring up is that for capital works, our water filter. The building is currently put together. They should be pouring concrete, Dave, I guess, this week for the floor of the building. So it's becoming more closer now that actually we have our new water filters take over, and that the tender is now out for Main Dam Road. So we'll patiently await for the closure of that. I know that's been quite some time. I believe it's 900 meters of road that'll get the full suite of services as much needed. And Mayor, I've taken up quite a bit of everybody's time, so.
No, you go
Thank
right
you.
ahead. All right, thank you. If that's all for everyone, I will. It is now 8:11. I'll call for a mover to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Freak. This meeting is adjourned at 8:11 p.m.